This week in real estate, we're taking a walk down memory lane. Guys, I've got numbers here, numbers here, numbers here, numbers over here. I've got so much data to share with you. I went to a class this week and they finally gave me this report that I've been wanting. It's the historical data for the months of supply that go all the way back to like 2004. If you watch any of the videos that I do, if you subscribe to my channel, you know that my favorite report is the market action report, which basically gives us a snapshot of how's the market in the number of months of supply that we have. It shows the number of transactions closed versus the number of months listing. And in theory, if we had no new listings come on, we would run out of homes for sale in X amount of months. And this last month was 2.7. So this report that I've got is like all of those months going back more than 10 years. And I totally wanted to share that with you because it kind of gives us a little bit of a history lesson, and we can look at when this crash happened, what it actually did to the number of months of supply. You can kind of see when things picked up again, how bad things actually got at their worst point. I'm actually going to do a poll. I'm going to put these numbers up and I'm going to ask you, what was the month where we had the highest number of months of supply in all of these charts that I'm going to be putting on the screen? I've got my cheat sheet here. I'm going to read off. Ignore me staring at the paper. There's way too many numbers for me to memorize and keep my eye contact with you. But you will notice that up until recently, 1 point whatever months of supply was kind of the standard. Starting in March of 2015, we dipped to 1.9 months of supply and basically held under 2. We had a little bit of a gust in 2017 where we hit 2.3 at one point, but then it wasn't until the fall of 2018 where we started to see consistent over 2 months of supply and even dipping into the 3 months of supply. We hit it in September. We also hit it in January. I don't actually think March is going to show that. That report comes out on April 15th, and based on what I'm seeing for the number of listings, I think we're going to stay under 3. I would like to keep it above 3 because I think that's a balanced market. I think sellers are more encouraged to list if they can find things on the market to buy, and I think home buyers, especially first-time home buyers, aren't getting outbid or having to race to see properties in order to put an offer in on them if there's only 1.8 months of supply. That's seriously a heavy seller's market, and it makes it hard for first-time home buyers and anybody that needs to buy a house or sell, a lot less likely to do so. But let's take a trip back to, let's say, in the 2013, 2014. That was more of a normalized market. We had started recovering. All of the programs that they put in place for to stimulate the economy. There was the Home Affordable Refinance Act. There was the TARP plan. There were really low interest rates, and the economy started to at least balance out. It wasn't ripping and roaring, but things were normalizing and people were getting used to this kind of new economy that we were going into. And we were hovering in the high 2s, low 3s, even some 4s in there. And that was a pretty good market. We still sold a lot of homes. People bought a lot of homes. It wasn't a crash like it was if we look back to, say, 2010, 2011. Looking at this chart, lots of 10 months of supply and more. There was some stimulation in there that allowed like a $7,500 tax credit if you bought a house, and that did some kind of at least a short period of time. It helped houses. But then obviously looking back in the 2008, 2009, when it really got bad, when we're talking about banks collapsing and all of that kind of stuff, we've got it in the teens for months of supply. And so anyways, that's going to be a question, a poll. What is the highest month of supply that we saw? So if you think that the market is headed for a correction or anything like that, if you're starting to hear rumblings about housing struggling and having its lowest numbers since whatever, just take a look at one of these charts and see how far we've yet to go if you really want to see how bad it got. Anyways, there are some things in credit supply for getting home loans that are not being repeated like they were back in 2007, 2008, where it's coming down to 3 items that you need in order to qualify for a home. You need to have a decent job, you need to have good credit, and you need to have a down payment, or a combination of those. And it was so bad back before the market crashed that you didn't need to have to prove your income. You could state your income. You didn't need to have good credit, and you didn't need money down, and that was the perfect disaster. Now, even though they're starting to lighten up on some of the restrictions they have, you still need 2 out of those 3 in most cases. If you've got good credit, you don't necessarily need a down payment, and you might need to be able to prove your income. If you're self-employed, there's tax returns and things like that they can do. If you've got bad credit, you need a down payment and you need a good job if you're going to get into a house. And so it's not nearly as bad as it used to be, although we are seeing more 100% financing loans come available. There's like an Oregon bond program, there's some grants, and there's things that are making it easier for first-time home buyers as long as they've got a job and good credit. So I wouldn't be worried about a repeat of this 2008, 2009 market. And so anyways, I think we're normalizing. I think this new market is, you can expect the longer months of supply. In the 3 to 4 months of supply would be great. And then with that, the sellers that basically ruled the market over the last few years are going to expect a longer listing period. It's not going to get 5 offers in 3 days. It's taking more like 60 to 90 days to sell your house, which is a more normalizing market. And then for buyers, you're not going to have to see it on the first day and make an offer sight unseen or something like that in order to get the house. You might actually be able to think about it, sleep on it, and then make an offer. So I think it's a good market. I'm really excited to see what 2019 is going to bring us. Hopefully this wasn't too much data for you. I really enjoy these numbers. It really tells a story, and hope you enjoyed that. If you got any questions, if you want to see these, I can email them to you, and you can kind of see I got all kinds of charts and stuff that I can show you that are pretty interesting. But I'll wrap it up here. Thanks a lot for watching. That is This Week in Real Estate.